Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be spotlighting Hot Pursuit. And Hot Pursuit is an interesting masterpiece from the last set, Murders at Karlov Manor. And it's one that can be very powerful, but I didn't really have a great way to make it consistently powerful until now, because I finally got Ansrag, the Quake Mole. And somebody in my coalition was wondering how to break Hot Pursuit. And I was like, well, you need a way to make sure that your opponent is breaking the trap gems that Hot Pursuit creates. And so that's where Ansrag, the Quake Mole, comes in, and Fateful Handoff. So the idea is you hand off Ansrag after Hot Pursuit is on the board. You destroy it with Snuff Out down there, and it will basically deal tons of damage to your opponent and clear out their hand. And many times it will either deal lethal damage or get you pretty close to it. So let's look at the card. Trap 8. Exile the last support or spell card from your opponent's hand. Then deal X damage to the first opposing creature and to your opponent's planeswalker. X is the number of cards in all exiles. This part of it doesn't matter as much, but at the beginning of the combat on your turn, each opposing creature gains suspect until the beginning of your next turn. Then your creature gains plus X plus X. X is the number of creatures with suspect on the battlefield times the number of simple tokens you control. So we're going to be making a decent amount of simple tokens with Hit the Motherlode and Hell to Pay, but that's really just a bonus. It's not really what we're using this card for. We're all about making those trap gems as lethal as possible. So we got two cards that are going to be continuously exiling your opponent, and those are Una, Queen of the Fae, and Jaleva, Nephalia's Scourge. In Una, Queen of the Fae, when you make a blue or black match by swap, exile the top 5 cards of your opponent's library, then create a fairy token for each color among cards in your opponent's exile. Gain mana equal to the number of cards in your opponent's exile. Una is a great creature just in general. It gives you a decent amount of mana as you get this deck going. And so every time you hit a blue or black match, you're both gaining mana and powering up your trap gems for Hot Pursuit. Fateful Handoff. Your opponent gains controlled target non-token creature you control. If they can't, your opponent gains control of a non-token artifact support you control at random, then draw 3 cards. Those cards gain X mana. X is equal to half the mana value of the card with the greatest mana value your opponent controls but doesn't own, rounded up. So you're basically getting mana for handing a creature off to your opponent. And we're going to be handing off Ansrag. That's really why we're using this card at all. And then Ansrag, the Quake Mole. When this creature deals combat damage to a creature, reinforce each creature you control 2 times. We're rarely actually going to be fighting with Ansrag on our side. So instead, when this creature dies, destroy all gems. So that is why we're using it. If you force your opponent to destroy all gems, you're going to be making him hit all the trap gems on the board. Hit the Motherlode is mostly here to not only give us some mana from the gold tokens, but also help us find our pieces by using Discover. And same thing for Chimmel, the Inner Sun. At the end of your turn, discover 4 twice. So I like to get Una and Chimmel down as quickly as possible so that I can just easily look for all the pieces I need. And then Jaleva, Nephalia's Scourge. When this creature enters the battlefield, move the top X cards from each player's library into your exile. X is the amount of mana used to cast this card. Those cards gain the Darkness emblem. So the amount of mana at full stored mana would be 19 mana. So one casting of a fully stored Nephalia Scourge will be putting 38 cards into your exile. So right away, that's going to be fueling up the Hot Pursuit trap gems by a lot. And then Snuff Out is just, targeted removal, because we're going to want to hit that Ansrag, and it will ensure that Ansrag dies. So that's the main thing there. I'm just using Tybalt because I like to use him for oddball decks like this. Sometimes I never use him for anything serious. So he just, for some reason, makes things fun for me. And then also his second ability allows you to steal things out of your opponent's exile and put them into play under your control. So it's just another little extra added benefit. And as you can see, this deck actually loses very rarely. It actually is a relatively viable deck. If you find an event to actually use this deck in, cool, but it's mostly just a fun training grounds deck for me. So if you ever see me using Tybalt, I'm probably using this deck. So yeah, check it out. If you're looking for a reason to use Hot Pursuit and you're the type of person that likes to, tinker with decks and craft some fun non-meta stuff just to shake up the boredom of playing GTA all the time or something, whatever you're doing, this one is a good one for you. All right, well, that'll do it for me, and I'm just showing off some of the end results of some of these battles here. So check it out, have fun, and I'll see you in the next video.